The girl was often mocked for her ugly appearance. Her mother told her she'd grow more beautiful as she matured, but instead, she grew uglier, and her classmates disliked her. Social media became her only outlet for confiding. Then a netizen sent her a makeup tutorial video. After opening it and seeing the before and after photos, she was stunned. The next day, she arrived at school wearing stunning makeup. Everyone wore expressions of astonishment. She noticed everyone staring at her and thought it must be because she had become beautiful. When she confidently walked into the classroom, even the school beauty who had once looked down on her was stunned. Some classmates hurriedly pulled out their phones and started snapping photos. Zhou Jing realized she had failed. Once again, she became the laughingstock of her classmates. That evening, her mother was frantically calling people to borrow money. Just as Zhou Jing got up to return to her room, she froze in shock. Only then did her mother recognize her own daughter. Her mother lunged to hit her, thinking Zhou Jing had deliberately scared her. But Zhou Jing explained she had only applied makeup. "This isn't makeup," her mother snapped. "You look like you're playing a ghost." Only then did Zhou Jing grasp how humiliating the day had been. She rushed to her mother, begging to transfer schools. Her mother replied they were already planning to move. It turned out her father's debts meant they had to sell their house. Hearing she'd truly transfer, Zhou Jing danced with joy. Seeing her happiness, her mother assumed it was because their family was bankrupt. Just then, her younger brother returned from school. The moment he turned on the light, he was stunned. He asked her, "Did you go shoot a horror movie?" Zhou Jing returned to her room and stared at her reflection, admiring her elaborate makeup. She sighed. Where did it all go wrong? So she decided to seek help from netizens. Many replied that her eyebrows were the problem. Then a second netizen suggested making her eyes look bigger. Following all these suggestions, she finally found a way to make herself beautiful. Next, Zhou Jing took out a knife and sliced her little piggy bank in half. The next day, she took her saved allowance to the mall and went on a shopping spree. Back home, she grabbed her eyebrow razor and started on her brows, but one careless shave wiped them clean. She consoled herself, "No big deal, I'll just draw them on anyway." Next came curling her lashes, then applying eyeliner. Right after that, she slathered on lipstick. After practicing all night, she finally put in her contact lenses. With the move approaching and time running short, she applied a face mask in the car. Just then, Xiaohao stepped outside. Her father suddenly rolled down the window, sending the dried-out mask flying out. By sheer coincidence, the mask landed directly on Xiaohao's face. Zhou Jing, seeing this, panicked and quickly retreated. Xiaohao was furious, nearly exploding with rage. After moving into the new home, Zhou Jing continued applying her makeup. Today was her first day at the new school. First impressions mattered. The moment she stepped out, both mom and dad were stunned. Her sister started to scold her but stopped mid-sentence. The family was speechless for a long while. A breathtaking beauty entered the school grounds. Students were stunned by her stunning beauty, and she was none other than Zhou Jing. Our triumphant comeback story. Even in the hallway, students parted to make way for her. Feeling all eyes on her, Zhou Jing grew slightly embarrassed. Some classmates nearly choked on their milk. With her sweet looks, Zhou Jing received polite treatment from teachers. Just then, the principal approached, remarking, "Her face alone suggests excellent grades." But upon checking her report card, every subject scored single digits. He then turned his attention to her younger brother and repeated the same comment he'd made to Zhou Jing. The teacher tried to console her, saying there were things in life more important than grades. Just then, Xiaohao entered and handed the report to the teacher. Zhou Jing suddenly felt the voice sounded so familiar because she was wearing makeup. Xiaohao didn't recognize her as the girl he had saved. As Xiaohao was about to leave, the teacher called him back and asked him to bring Zhou Jing to the classroom. As they walked down the hallway, a girl confessed her feelings to Xiaohao. Zhou Jing, distracted, collided directly into his back. While Xiaohao was speaking, she tried to blow the powder off her lips. At that moment, Xiaohao knocked over the gift the girl had given him and stormed off. When he entered the classroom, classmates noticed the foundation on his clothes. Only after Xiaohao took off his shirt did he realize Zhou Jing was behind it. Meanwhile, Zhou Jing was outside frantically reapplying her makeup. Xiaohao stormed over and angrily flung his shirt at her face. The teacher then brought Zhou Jing in to introduce herself. The classmates were thrilled to have such a beautiful new student join their class except for Xiaohao. The teacher assigned her a seat. After class, the student sitting in front rushed over to chat and inquired about her lip gloss brand. As she reached for it, the tube slipped and fell to the floor. Zhou Jing was utterly stunned by the appearance of the girl before her. The student in front introduced her as Xiaojun, calling her our school's goddess. But now that you've arrived, they added, you'll be our school's goddess. During the long break, Zhou Jing took Xiao Hao's shirt to the restroom to wash it, but no matter how she scrubbed, the stain wouldn't budge. Only then did she recall the makeup was waterproof. Resigned, she brought the clothes out. Unexpectedly, she shook all the water onto Xiao Hao's face. Zhou Jing hurriedly apologized, offering to take it to the laundry, but Xiao Hao said, just throw it away. A classmate then suggested, let's go buy buns. Before the sentence was finished, Zhou Jing volunteered to help buy them. Only then did Zhou Jing realize she was no longer the person who used to be bullied for her looks. The three of them then went to the cafeteria to eat. They quickly became good friends. The food was extremely spicy, and Zhou Jing couldn't handle the heat. After that, they went to the arcade and started playing games. This was a kind of joy she had never experienced before, because she used to be ugly. No one had ever wanted to play with her. At that moment, she finally found her happy self and gained two good friends. After removing her makeup, Zhou Jing was revealed as an acne-covered, plain-looking girl. Even her phone's facial recognition couldn't identify her face. With no other choice, she reapplied her makeup and picked up her phone again. Later, she went to the small bookstore to look for horror novels and bumped into her classmate Xiao Hao. Since she was barefaced, Xiao Hao didn't recognize Zhou Jing as his classmate. Just as she tried to flee, the owner grabbed her arm. He insisted she finish her bowl of noodles before leaving. With no choice, Zhou Jing gritted her teeth and began shoveling them in. Suddenly, Xiao Hao sat down right beside her. Startled, Zhou Jing shifted closer to the wall, terrified of being recognized. Then she noticed how handsome Xiao Hao actually was. After observing him for a while, Zhou Jing felt he hadn't recognized her, so she boldly decided to test the waters. After some conversation, she finally confirmed Xiao Hao hadn't recognized her. She hastily finished her noodles and bolted out the door. But then, one of her shoes fell off. She had no choice but to turn back and retrieve it. And so, she ran out barefoot on one foot. Back home, her younger brother teased her relentlessly. He even said her goddess act would be exposed sooner or later. This infuriated Zhou Jing. Xiao Hao was puzzled. She knew the girl was the same one he'd rescued last time. Why pretend they didn't know each other? That night, Zhou Jing hadn't gotten a clear look at his face at all. The next day, it was time for school again. She slathered thick BB cream on her face. She thought to herself, only perfect disguise was her way to survive. After an hour of meticulous effort, Goddess Zhou Jing was fully transformed. Just as she prepared to ride to school with her sister, an elderly woman nearby asked her mother, when did you gain such a beautiful daughter? Her mother was at a loss for words. Zhou Jing, however, felt a secret thrill. Arriving at school, she still worried Xiao Hao might recognize her. The moment she turned her head, Xiao Hao collided with her, knocking her to the ground. After an awkward greeting, Xiao Hao ignored her completely and headed back to class. This confirmed her identity hadn't been exposed. After school, she went to the mall to buy cosmetics. Just as she was about to leave, she spotted the class beauty who had bullied her before. Recalling all the humiliation she endured in school because of her looks, the class beauty saw her and turned away in fright. This puzzled the class beauty, who then walked straight up to Zhou Jing. But neither of them recognized Zhou Jing's identity. Zhou Jing immediately took off running, tears of sorrow streaming down her face. At that moment, several men on motorcycles were chasing someone ahead. Just as they were about to turn a corner, they suddenly collided with Zhou Jing. Zhou Jing quickly got up and asked if he was okay. Seeing this, Zhou Jing felt a bit flustered. The man removed his helmet, flicked his handsome hair, and turned to look at her. Just then, his pursuers caught up. He hastily tossed his helmet to Zhou Jing and took off running. Seeing everyone chasing him, Zhou Jing stood frozen in place, dumbfounded. After a chase, Xu Jun was cornered in an alley. Just as the thugs were about to attack him, the police arrived. With no other choice, they retreated. After the group left, Zhou Jing appeared. It turned out she was the one who had triggered the alarm. Zhou Jing kept staring in the direction they fled, only to bump into Xu Jun, who hadn't run away. This startled Zhou Jing, who had assumed he'd fled too. Xu Jun was about to ask who she was, but the timid Zhou Jing bolted without a second thought. Just as he turned to leave, something occurred to him, and so, Zhou Jing ended up with a free helmet. That evening, she came fully armed to return the book, dreading the possibility of running into classmates there. Only after the owner assured her no one was around did she feel safe enough to step inside. Just as she finished selecting her books and prepared to leave, a familiar voice reached her ears. Xiaohao asked why she hadn't come down. Zhou Jing lied that she was looking for books. Xiaohao retorted, "How long do you plan to pretend you don't know me?" Hearing this, Zhou Jing panicked completely. She stumbled and fell off the bench. They stared at each other for several minutes. Only when the owner walked in did they snap back to reality. Xiaohao shoved her aside. Zhou Jing, finally processing, asked if he had recognized her here last time. Xiaohao confirmed it, but Zhou Jing didn't realize he was referring to the time she jumped off the rooftop. She thought he had recognized her disguised appearance from school days. Their conversation was completely off track. Zhou Jing then pleaded for his discretion. Xiaohao agreed, but Zhou Jing felt verbal promises weren't binding. She drafted a confidentiality agreement and asked him to sign it there. Xiaohao refused. During their argument, they mentioned a book that Zhou Jing happened to be holding. To get the book, Xiaohao reluctantly signed the agreement and treated her to a bowl of instant noodles. But Zhou Jing, too excited, accidentally inhaled noodles into her nose. The next day, she washed the clothes she'd dirtied Xiaohao with and prepared to return them. She also brought along the novel, but Zhou Jing didn't realize that giving him the book would expose her identity. Xiaohao had no idea she was the girl who jumped off the building. At school, Zhou Jing kept her promise and prepared to return the book. When Xiaohao saw her face, he was completely stunned. Just then, Xiaojun walked over and told Xiaohao that the teacher wanted him to come to the office. After Xiaohao left, Zhou Jing asked the classmates in front what their relationship was. The student replied that their parents seemed to be friends. At lunchtime, just as Zhou Jing was about to take a big bite, she overheard classmates discussing how she was practically goddess-like. Hearing this, Zhou Jing immediately put down the meat she was about to eat, cut it into small pieces with her knife, and began eating in tiny bites. During the lunch break, Zhou Jing took her clothes and the novel to find Xiaohao again. Xiaohao assumed she had a crush on him and followed her to the rooftop. Before Xiaohao could speak, Zhou Jing said, "No one's here. Relax, I washed your uniform and that thing I meant to give you last time." Xiaohao took the paper bag and asked, "Do you like me?" Zhou Jing explained, "We just saw each other a few days ago." But Xiaohao thought she'd imagined it all because she liked him, then walked away without looking back. Only then did Zhou Jing realize he hadn't recognized her bare face. After a chase, she finally caught up to Xiaohao. She snatched the bag, claiming she'd taken the wrong items, but Xiaohao refused to give it back. Quick-witted, she blurted out, "This bag contains sanitary pads." Xiaohao froze solid. Zhou Jing retreated to the bathroom, utterly devastated. That same day, she was sexually harassed by a man on the bus. A classmate nearby saw it and grabbed the man. Zhou Jing woke up, utterly bewildered. Xiaojun was explaining when the man pushed her aside and fled. She chased him relentlessly, leaving her classmates stunned. Xiaojun grabbed her backpack and spun it 360 degrees. Then she dove forward, subduing the man until the police arrived. Only then did she stride away with grace. At the bus stop, everyone applauded her. Zhou Jing immediately rushed to Xiaojun and said, "If only you were my boyfriend." Later, walking through campus with classmates, a motorcycle suddenly sped toward them. Everyone scattered, but Xiaohao stood completely still. When he removed his helmet, Zhou Jing was instantly flooded with memories. A classmate nearby introduced him as Li Shujun. Xiaohao and Li Shujun were known as the school's bully and heartthrob. Wherever the heartthrob appeared, girls would fall head over heels. The bully was no different wherever he showed up. A crowd of girls would gather. Even when he was just washing his hair, he could make them swoon. Yet Zhou Jing felt nothing but dread. What she never expected was that Xu Jun was in her very own class. He'd been absent for a few days due to personal matters. The teacher assigned him to sit next to Xiaohao. Xu Jun immediately protested. The two were sworn enemies. He marched straight to Zhou Jing's seat instead. The teacher hurriedly explained Zhou Jing had poor eyesight, hence the placement. The teacher then reassigned Xu Jun to another seat. Zhou Jing sheepishly apologized, but Xu Jun couldn't be bothered to acknowledge her. Suddenly, he felt Zhou Jing looked vaguely familiar. After class, a group of troublemakers planned to pick a fight with Xu Jun, but as the school's top bully, why would he be afraid? So they arranged a showdown in an alley. Just as the fight was about to start, Xu Jun stormed up and scolded them. Turns out they were all his childhood friends. The earlier scene was merely a welcome back performance for Xu Jun. Class time rolled around again. The teacher assigned a poet research project. Xu Jun and Xiuzhen were grouped together. Zhou Jing and Xiu Hao were placed in another group. Xiuzhen asked Xu Jun if he knew how to make a PPT. He mistakenly thought she meant PT and proudly declared he'd once been a fitting model, leaving everyone utterly speechless. Meanwhile, Zhou Jing was having a rough time. The more she tried to avoid Xiu Hao's gaze, the more he ended up sitting directly across from her. Back home, she lay on her bed in despair when suddenly her phone rang. Answering it, she discovered it was Xiu Hao calling. Surprised, she asked how he got her number. Xiu Hao vaguely replied he'd found out, adding, "Didn't you have something to give me?" Zhou Jing instantly glanced at the paper bag on the table. They then agreed to meet at the park cafe, leaving her utterly confused. That day, a classmate accidentally smashed a cake right into Zhou Jing's face. This was disastrous. Removing her makeup would reveal the truth. She rushed to the restroom, only to find it packed with people. The students watching her caused her to panic. Just then, a boy appeared. He took off his jacket and draped it over her head in front of everyone. Their eyes met as they dashed toward the restroom together. Back in class, Zhou Jing wondered if Xiu Hao knew what she looked like without makeup, which was why he covered for her. After class, she found her younger brother and told him what had just happened. Zhou Sen also felt Xiu Hao had discovered his sister's secret. Otherwise, why would he protect you? Zhou Jing was puzzled by his actions. Zhou Sen claimed it was to hold something over her and bully her. This made Zhou Jing deeply afraid. Back in the classroom, her mind was filled with visions of Xiu Hao seeking revenge, and she began having frequent hallucinations. Walking down the hallway, she imagined Xiu Hao as a vampire. Xiu Hao was utterly baffled by Zhou Jing's bizarre behavior. After school, she thought she could finally escape Xiu Hao, only to receive another call from him. He arranged to meet her at the comic shop. Before Zhou Jing could respond, he hung up. Zhou Jing knew he was after her without makeup. Xiu Hao gave her a tiramisu to thank her for the comic book. He also mentioned a classmate at Xinchuan High who resembled her. Zhou Jing calmly claimed she just had a common face and had never heard of that school. Faced with Xiu Hao's relentless questioning, Zhou Jing kept making excuses. Eventually, Xiu Hao saw through her lies. Even then, Zhou Jing refused to admit it. She insisted the girl was her cousin, they were relatives. But how could Xiu Hao possibly believe such a ridiculous excuse? Just then, Mom called out Zhou Jing's childhood nickname. The lights suddenly dimmed, and Zhou Jing bolted out the door. Back home, she felt utterly doomed. What Zhou Jing didn't know was that Xiu Hao had already figured out her identity. He'd spotted the comic books inside her clothes when she returned them last time. Zhou Jing was at rock bottom. Suddenly, she saw her sister playing a game. That unyielding spirit instantly infected her. The next day, she arrived at school with a different makeup look. She found Xiu Hao. This battle, she couldn't lose, because Xiu Hao had seen her bare face. She had to nip it in the bud. So she gathered all her strength and transformed into Guna, the dark goddess. The surroundings began to shift. The sword was drawn, there was no turning back. Then, with demonic strides, she charged toward Xiu Hao. At the critical moment, Xiu Hao produced her nemesis, instantly draining all her magic. Zhou Jing plummeted from the sky, landing on her knees before Xiu Hao. She begged him not to reveal her barefaced appearance, but Xiu Hao retorted, "Why should I listen to you?" Zhou Jing pleaded, "If you keep this secret, I'll do anything you ask." Unexpectedly, Xiu Hao agreed. In that moment, she felt Xiu Hao was her guardian angel. Back in class, Xiu Hao found the sunlight outside blindingly bright. The next second, Zhou Jing rushed over and drew the curtains. During class, she suddenly received a text from Xiu Hao asking for water. Zhou Jing quickly lied, saying she had a stomachache. After the teacher agreed, she hurriedly dashed out. A minute later, she charged back in with water, shoving it into Xiu Hao's hands. Soon after, while Xu Jun was preening, she bumped right into Zhou Jing carrying Xiu Hao's homework. Just as Zhou Jing tried to leave, Xu Jun pinned her against the wall, demanding why she hadn't returned the helmet. Only then did Zhou Jing remember the helmet and promised to return it tomorrow. Xu Jun retorted, "If you don't return it tomorrow, you're dead." Only then did Zhou Jing manage to escape. After delivering Xiu Hao's homework to the office, she immediately dashed back to her classroom. She hurriedly reported to Xiu Hao that the task was complete. Seeing the contents, Xiu Hao inexplicably chuckled. After school, she rushed home to find the helmet, only to discover her younger brother had sold it. Jo Jing chased after her brother and beat him senseless. The war only ended when her mother returned. Shortly after, Jo Jing suddenly received a message from Xiao Hao telling her to pick up a book at the comic shop, and then rush to the playground in 10 minutes. She raced to the comic shop only to find the book had just been borrowed by a little boy. Xiao Hao waited endlessly, but Jo Jing never showed up. Meanwhile, Jo Jing was bribing the little boy with ice cream to return the book. Just then, she received a message from Xiao Hao 10 minutes had passed. Determined to retrieve the book, she tried to snatch it away, which only upset the boy. With no other option, she broke into a zombie dance to cheer him up. Just then, Xiao Hao arrived and witnessed the scene. Soon after, Jo Jing finally retrieved the book and found Xiao Hao. After explaining everything, she shoved the book into Xiao Hao's arms. The next day, she sought out Xu Jun to discuss the helmet. She slipped a small note into his pocket, instructing him to read it only after she left. Xu Jun's friends mistook it for a love letter. When he opened it, the note revealed the helmet had been sold. Rage made his hands tremble. Classmates wanted to see it too, but Xu Jun, unwilling to lose face, claimed it was just another love letter like before. When Jo Jing returned to class, Xiao Hao beckoned her with a finger. The two were incredibly bold, eating lunch in broad daylight on the school rooftop. What Jo Jing didn't realize was this was actually a trap. Xiao Hao wanted her to join the school's spring festival celebration. To prepare, Jo Jing practiced relentlessly every day. Soon came the casting auditions. She accidentally drank too much water. After using the restroom, she pumped herself up in front of the mirror. When she reached the audition door, the crowd had vanished. Assuming everyone had gone in, she pushed open the door, set down her microphone and phone, and started dancing. The teachers below were utterly bewildered, clueless about what was happening. Just then, Xiao Hao pushed open the door and witnessed the scene. Jo Jing was dancing with unbridled enthusiasm. Only when the lights came on did she realize she'd entered the wrong room. Xiao Hao, however, wore a satisfied smile. Returning home after school, she faced another scolding from her menopausal mother, who declared, "Instead of wasting time on makeup, you should be memorizing more vocabulary." Soon after, her younger brother pushed open the door, returning the helmet she'd left behind. But Jo Jing showed no gratitude. Her brother snorted and stormed out of the room. Just then, Jo Jing received another text from Xiao Hao, asking her to bring over a comic book. Without a second thought, Jo Jing dashed to the comic shop to find the book. When she stepped outside, rain had started pouring down. Hesitating briefly, she still braved the downpour and continued on her way, only to be confronted by a group of bullies who berated her, saying she was so ugly she should stay indoors instead of scaring people. Despite Jo Jing's constant apologies, they wouldn't let it go. Bystanders not only failed to intervene but joined in mocking her. When she finally limped over, Xiao Hao noticed the injury on her leg and asked why she hadn't used an umbrella in the rain. Jo Jing thought he was sending her to buy one. All her pent-up frustration surged up. Why did everyone use her ugliness to hurt her? It wasn't her fault she was ugly. Why did everyone hate her so much? Seeing Jo Jing crying, Xiao Hao quickly took off his coat and draped it over her. He told her to wait there and dashed out into the rain. After buying medicine, he hurried back and was spotted by Xu Jun passing by. Upon reaching the pavilion, he discovered Jo Jing was gone and began calling out anxiously. Xiao Hao turned around and found Jo Jing sitting outside. He approached her and carefully tended to the wound on her leg. In truth, Jo Jing didn't realize Xiao Hao kept giving her tasks just to get her attention. Xu Jun witnessed this scene and, furious, rode off on his motorcycle. The next day at lunch, he saw them exchanging glances again and couldn't stand it anymore. He stormed over to Xiao Hao, knocked his food to the ground, then walked away nonchalantly and sat down next to Jo Jing. Jo Jing thought it was about the helmet incident, but Xu Jun declared, "I'm eating with you." Xiao Hao couldn't hold back his anger either. He lunged forward and yanked Xu Jun up. Xu Jun countered with a punch that sent Xiao Hao crashing to the floor. Xiao Hao scrambled to his feet, poised to strike back but hesitating. Xu Jun, however, kept taunting him relentlessly. Just as Xiao Hao was about to retaliate, a teacher arrived and stopped the fight. Word of the incident quickly spread throughout the school. The two most popular guys had actually gotten into a fight over Jo Jing. Classmates even asked her, "Which of the two heartthrobs would you choose?" leaving Jo Jing utterly exasperated. Finally, with the help of the student in front, everyone was dispersed. But such rumors were bound to persist. To stop this farce, classmates set her up on a date with a boy Xiao Hao happened to overhear. They quickly agreed to meet at the cinema. Xiao Hao arrived first and sat in the most hidden back rows. The movie played on, but Xiao Hao's eyes never left the couple in front. Suddenly realizing what they were doing, he couldn't stand it anymore. He pushed past obstacles to reach them swiftly. Only after pulling them apart did he realize he'd mistaken them for someone else. Zhou Jing heard the commotion and turned around. Xiao Hao immediately burrowed into the long-haired man's embrace. After the movie, the guy suggested another date. Zhou Jing readily agreed. As he left, he even stroked her hair. As Zhou Jing turned back, Xiao Hao hid behind a display rack to avoid detection. The moment Zhou Jing arrived home, she received a message from the guy. He apologized, saying he was sorry for deceiving her. He had a girlfriend and shouldn't have gone on a date with her. His sister also told Zhou Jing, "You've been dumped." Zhou Jing felt utterly devastated. Her love had ended before it even began. It turned out that after Zhou Jing left, the guy met up with another woman. Xiao Hao happened to see this. He followed the guy to the restroom, and only after threatening and intimidating him did the guy send that apology text. The next day at school, Xu Jun rode his motorcycle right past Zhou Jing. Startled, Zhou Jing smeared her lipstick all over her nose. Xu Jun stopped his bike and asked if she was dating Xiao Hao. Zhou Jing shook her head and said no. Soon it was time for class. The teacher called Xiao Hao, Xiao Jin, and Zhou Jing to the front to answer questions. Xu Jun raised her hand, glanced at Xiao Jin and Xiao Hao, shook her head and said, "No way, they're definitely not dating." Zhou Jing, who scored single digits in every subject, naturally knew nothing. She wanted Xiao Hao to help her. Xiao Hao glanced at her but ignored her. Soon, the two finished and left, leaving Zhou Jing behind with not a single character written. The teacher approached and told her, "Your questions are different. Looking at his answers won't help." This made Xu Jun burst out laughing. Seeing him gloating, the teacher called him up to answer the question. Zhou Jing happily returned to her seat, but Xiao Hao was also a poor student and couldn't solve it either. After school, Zhou Jing went to help at her mom's shop. Suddenly, Xu Jun and his mom also arrived at the store. Zhou Jing instantly felt like she'd seen a ghost today. At school, she was a goddess-level figure. Her bare face absolutely couldn't be seen by anyone. Zhou Jing's mom saw Xu Jun and praised him for being incredibly handsome, about to introduce her daughter. Upon hearing this, Zhou Jing was so scared she jumped straight onto the bed. Her weight was so much that the bed collapsed under her. She made her grand entrance in the most graceful manner possible. Her mom was about to scold her when she saw what happened. Xu Jun seemed to have noticed something too. Turns out their moms had been best friends for years. Xu Jun started snapping photos of Zhou Jing non-stop. Zhou Jing couldn't take it anymore and asked her mom to go home. Her mom said, "You're going to scare people to death looking like that at night. Go wash your face." Xu Jun then flaunted her photos in front of her. To avoid being recognized by classmates, Zhou Jing had to reapply the makeup she'd just removed. After finishing her makeup, she approached her mother. Xu Jun's mother asked Zhou Jing, "You're classmates, so you must get along well, right?" Zhou Jing replied, "Not at all. We don't get along." Her mother countered, "Well, starting now, you will." She even invited Xu Jun over for dinner. Zhou Jing quickly explained she had tutoring the next day. The moment she said this, she was scolded by her mother. Just then, Xu Jun's mother praised Zhou Jing for being so quiet and well-behaved. Unlike our Xu Jun, who's always riding her motorcycle. Thankfully she hasn't been riding lately. Xu Jun tried to shut Zhou Jing up, but Zhou Jing pushed her aside and continued, "She rides so fast she nearly ran me over." Xu Jun's mom pleaded with Zhou Jing to tell her aunt if she ever saw him riding again. Zhou Jing solemnly promised to complete the mission. The next day, her chance came. She quickly pulled out her phone and snapped away. Xu Jun saw this and pulled out photos he'd taken the night before, threatening to show them to classmates unless she deleted them immediately. Their chase was witnessed by Xiao Hao. He confronted Zhou Jing, warning her to stop causing trouble and focus on her studies. Back in class, Zhou Jing spotted Xu Jun surrounded by a crowd staring at his phone. Instantly realizing he'd exposed her photos, she grabbed his motorcycle keys and bolted. Xu Jun gave chase, relentless until he finally caught her. Suddenly, Xiao Hao darted in, so now two arms were each grabbing one of her legs. Zhou Jing glanced at Xu Jun, then at Xiao Hao. Then she broke free from their grip. She certainly didn't want a repeat of last time, where the two of them had gotten into a huge fight right in front of her. In the end, all the blame had fallen on her. After the tutoring session ended, they decided to go to KTV to sing. Everyone was dancing and singing, but Xiao Hao just sat there looking bored. Later, he caught sight of Zhou Jing's bare thighs and felt rather embarrassed, so he grabbed a pillow and placed it over her legs. After using the restroom, Zhou Jing was suddenly drawn by singing from the next room. Through the window, she spotted Xu Jun's motorcycle. Stepping outside, she kicked the bike furiously in retaliation. Xu Jun emerged just then and asked what she was doing. Zhou Jing claimed she hadn't touched it, then suddenly spotted Xiao Hao. To prevent a fight between them, she grabbed Xu Jun and ran. They stumbled upon a group of thugs. Zhou Jing recalled Xu Jun getting beaten by these same guys last time. Xu Jun told her to run ahead. Zhou Jing thought, I may not be a heroine, but I'm still a goddess. This scene happened to be witnessed by Xiao Hao. Fearing Zhou Jing would be bullied, he chased after them. After a chase, they successfully evaded the thugs, but Xiao Hao ended up cornering the thugs. They discovered Xiao Hao also attended Xinchuan High School. Just as he turned to leave, the thugs blocked him. As a taekwondo expert, Xiao Hao wasn't afraid of them, but ultimately, two fists couldn't fight four hands. Xiao Hao was restrained and took a punch. Just as the second blow was about to land, a patrol officer arrived, preventing tragedy. Zhou Jing prepared to ride home on Xu Jun's motorcycle. Xu Jun deliberately slammed on the brakes. Soon after, he dropped Zhou Jing off at the comic shop. To their surprise, Xiao Hao was there too. Zhou Jing now felt uneasy whenever she saw the two of them together. They even joked that they must have been husband and wife in a past life. Xu Jun handed Zhou Jing his motorcycle keys, disregarding the stares of classmates to declare his feelings. Knowing Xiao Hao was watching nearby, he tenderly promised, from now on, I'll only listen to you. Seeing this, classmates all agreed Xu Jun was clearly into Zhou Jing. Xiao Hao couldn't hold back any longer. He grabbed Zhou Jing's hand, wanting to speak but finding no words. Back in class, Xu Jun bought a bottle of mango juice for Zhou Jing, claiming he'd picked it up on the way and offered it to her. Zhou Jing snapped back that she only drank strawberry-flavored juice. Xiao Hao's glare at that moment could have killed Xu Jun. During lab class, Xiao Hao pulled Zhou Jing to sit beside him. He handed the mango juice to a classmate and gave her a bottle of strawberry-flavored juice instead. Zhou Jing couldn't figure out what Xiao Hao was playing at, but she smiled anyway. Throughout class, Zhou Jing held onto that strawberry juice bottle, glancing back at Xiao Hao. Those captivating eyes, the straight nose bridge, the sensual lips. She smiled again. At lunchtime, Xu Jun sat right next to Zhou Jing, but Zhou Jing said, "Stay away from me." Then he started eating Zhou Jing's favorite pork chop. He clapped his hands, and the next second, two large plates of pork chops appeared before her. Some classmates even took out their phones to capture the scene. Zhou Jing returned the keys to him, saying, "Don't put them on my side." When going to the bathroom, Zhou Jing dragged a long piece of toilet paper behind her. Xu Jun stepped on it and called her a long-tailed monkey. Zhou Jing, embarrassed, quickly gathered the paper. Just then, a classmate accidentally bumped into her. Xu Jun immediately caught her in his arms. The classmates started cheering. Xiao Hao happened to see the whole thing. Realizing what was happening, Zhou Jing shoved Xu Jun aside. "It's all your fault I fell," she snapped before turning and running away awkwardly. That evening, Zhou Jing received a call from Xiao Hao, who invited her to meet at the basketball court. Zhou Jing was thrilled, but upon catching her reflection in the mirror, she gasped in shock. She applied a flawless makeup before heading out. Together, they played with kittens, shot hoops, and strolled the streets, their bond growing stronger by the minute. The next day in class, Zhou Jing noticed someone bullying a classmate. This classmate was just as unattractive as she was. It reminded her of similar experiences she'd endured before. By afternoon, they still wouldn't leave the girl alone, so a basin of water was dumped right on her, and the one who poured it was Zhou Jing herself. She wanted to put a stop to this toxic behavior. Seeing someone enter, the girl immediately ran out. Zhou Jing followed her out. Xiaojun couldn't bear to watch and immediately flew into a rage. The next day, Zhou Jing sought out the girl, Gao Yun, because she had a performance that day. Seeing Gao Yun's self-applied makeup, Zhou Jing felt it was like looking at her own reflection. She decided to do Gao Yun's makeup herself. After a thorough makeover, Gao Yun appeared stunning on stage. The audience below marveled at her beauty. In that moment, Gao Yun radiated unprecedented confidence. Even her younger brother was mesmerized. After the performance, Gao Yun rushed to thank Zhou Jing. Just then, Xu Jun approached with flowers. Only then did Zhou Jing learn they were biological siblings. Though she was the school's most beautiful goddess, her test scores consistently hovered in the single digits. Gu Zi, furious upon seeing her daughter's report card, grabbed a fan to cool off, but accidentally, the fan blew directly at the homeroom teacher. Turns out he was born without eyebrows. The homeroom teacher panicked. Did you see that? Just then, Guzi handed him a business card. When she stepped outside, she spotted the man she secretly admired, Shohao's father. Being a big star, he instantly drew a crowd of middle-aged women. Guzi was completely dumbfounded. Seeing Shohao's father about to leave, she blurted out, "I'll pay for your time." The statement left him utterly dumbfounded. It turned out she just wanted his autograph and quickly bent down. Zhou Jing, embarrassed by her mother's antics, bolted away. Soon after, Xiao Hao approached his father, asking why he came to school. It seemed their relationship wasn't exactly warm. Just then, Guzi rushed over again, her daughter unable to stop her. Discovering Xiao Hao and her daughter were classmates made her even happier. Xiao Hao awkwardly walked away. During the afternoon lab class, both were sulking after their earlier spat, ignoring each other completely. Just as Zhou Jing was about to leave, someone grabbed her arm. "I have nothing to say," she muttered. "Can you let go?" It turned out her clothes had snagged. Embarrassed, she bolted. That evening, when Zhou Jing got home and started taking off her socks, she suddenly froze. Seeing it was Xiao Hao, she awkwardly ran upstairs. Just moments earlier, Guzi had gone to the comic shop to find her daughter and ran into Xiao Hao. Since Xiao Hao was the son of her idol, she brought him home. Come dinner time, Guzi insisted on feeding Xiao Hao herself. Joseon grabbed Xiao Hao's clothes and asked, "Is this real? Can I borrow it for a few days?" Xiao Hao replied, "If you like it, it's yours." Zhou Jing kicked him, but her brother grabbed her. Then the two wrestled under the table, so Zhou Jing ended up in Xiao Hao's arms. She looked up. Mom said, "It's time to eat." Dad was fuming. Just then, their drunken older sister stumbled home and accidentally knocked the power cord loose. The entire room plunged into darkness, everyone groping their way around. When Zhou Jing flashed her light, this is what they looked like. Only the drunk sister remained calmly eating. The next day was Sunday. The sister brought her to the sauna. She was alone in the room, sweating it out. When time was up and she tried to leave, she bumped into Shu Jun's best friend. Startled, she hurried back inside. She absolutely couldn't be seen without makeup. After Jiashan sat down, she tried to leave again, only for Shu Jun to walk in. Luckily, she reacted fast enough to dive headfirst onto the floor and immediately pretend to be asleep. Zhou Jing was on the verge of a mental breakdown. She couldn't believe how much nonsense these two were spouting, even betting on who would leave first. An hour later, Zhou Jing's clothes were soaked through. Jiashan asked Shu Jun about his girlfriend and complimented Zhou Jing, saying she was truly beautiful. Shu Jun retorted, "Are you blind? What's so attractive about her?" Already irritated, Zhou Jing grew even more furious. Just then, Jiashan noticed her and said to Shu Jun, "She hasn't moved in an hour. Could she be dead?" Jiashan was about to get up to call her. Zhou Jing pinched her nostrils and said, "This is so relaxing. Don't disturb me," Jiashan declared. "Now that's a pro. Our bet doesn't even matter." He dashed out first to buy ice cream, followed closely by Shu Jun. Finally, Zhou Jing couldn't hold on any longer and crawled out. After meeting her sister asked her to grab snacks from the convenience store where she was spotted by Xiao Hao nearby. When she returned with her purchases, she encountered the person she dreaded most, the class beauty who had once bullied her. That day, Shu Jun danced at home in leopard print shorts. His sister asked if he could behave normally indoors. Shu Jun glanced down nonchalantly, greeted Zhou Jing calmly, then resumed dancing with devilish steps. Once alone, she sprinted to her bed, flopped down, and let out an awkward scream. Zhou Jing overheard and claimed, "I didn't see a thing." Hearing this, Shu Jun wished she could vanish into a hole. After Zhou Jing left, Shu Jun grabbed her hair. These two were truly a pair of lovable rivals. Zhou Jing suddenly blurted, "I saw your leopard print shorts," which infuriated Shu Jun to no end. The next day at school, Zhou Jing spotted Shu Jun again. Without a word, she leaped right in front of him. That leap landed straight into Shu Jun's heart. Watching her retreating figure, he realized he'd fallen for this girl. Meanwhile, some troublemakers discovered photos of Shu Jun and Zhou Jing on social media. They assumed Zhou Jing was Shu Jun's girlfriend. To get back at Shu Jun, they tracked down Zhou Jing and called Shu Jun, telling him, "Your girlfriend's in our hands. Get here fast." Just then, Shu Jun was with Xiao Hao. Xiao Hao panicked upon hearing the news. Meanwhile, Zhou Jing secretly video called a classmate when they weren't looking. The classmate immediately sensed something was off, because the people in the video were all thugs. Xiaojun instantly recognized the KTV from their previous visit. Xiaohao and Xu Jun searched room by room. Xiaohao found Zhou Jing first and charged straight at the gang boss, unleashing a brutal beating. Xu Jun arrived, tossed his backpack aside, and joined the fight. Seeing the gang boss nearly beaten to death, he rushed to stop Xiaohao. Suddenly, he caught Zhou Jing's terrified gaze fixed on the gang leader. Furious, he launched into a furious round of kicks. Xiaohao executed a side flip to shield Zhou Jing. Zhou Jing refused to be outdone and joined the fray. Just then, her best friend arrived on the scene. Without hesitation, Xiaojun delivered a flying kick that sent a man crashing to the ground. The others quickly joined the fight. Xu Jun and Xiaohao, both skilled in taekwondo, quickly overwhelmed the thugs. Amidst a chorus of screams, the confrontation ended decisively. The next day, the KTV owner tracked them down at school. Unavoidably, they all faced disciplinary action. After class, Xiaohao confronted the boy who had bullied Zhou Jing. Using his influence, he forced the boy to apologize. Left with no choice, the boy sought out Zhou Jing that evening. Zhou Jing, thinking he was causing trouble, immediately sprayed him with pepper spray. The boy panicked, stammering that he'd come to apologize. After apologizing, he bolted away. Zhou Jing remained puzzled by his apology. Xu Jun discovered he'd scored 50 points and exclaimed in shock. He then smugly asked a classmate beside him what they scored. Seeing they only got 49 points, he immediately looked down on them with contempt. Meanwhile, the girl who ranked second in the class was furious, because if she didn't get first place, her father would beat her. That night, when Zhou Jing got home, her mom threw away all her makeup because of her poor test score. Just then, Xiaohao came looking for Zhou Jing. Since the door wasn't locked, he knocked it open. He saw Zhou Jing crying as she came out. Startled him, so he quickly closed the door and hid nearby. After emerging, Zhou Jing rushed straight to the trash area to search for her cosmetics. Seeing her distress, Xiaohao took her out for noodles. She savored the 1 yuan instant noodles as if they were abalone. With Xiaohao by her side, her mood lifted considerably. Later, when Xiaohao walked her home, he stepped on an earthworm, freezing her in terror. Xiaohao crouched down, removed her shoe to prevent her from falling on one foot, and urged her to sit. Zhou Jing hesitated but eventually sat down. But Xiaohao said, "I told you to sit over there." Zhou Jing grabbed her cosmetics and started walking home, only to be called back by Xiaohao, who pushed her against the wall. She obediently closed her eyes, but instead of what she expected, she received a hairpin. The next day, she wore the hairpin beautifully to her tutoring class. Waiting for Zhou Jing, Xiaohao noticed Xiaojun looked troubled and followed her. Upon asking, he learned she hadn't gotten first place and had been scolded by her father. Just then, Zhou Jing arrived. She witnessed Xiaojun leaning on Xiaohao for comfort. Recalling Xiaohao's earlier mention of liking someone, this completely fueled her misunderstanding. During tutoring, Xiaohao asked her to sit beside him. Zhou Jing pointed behind her, implying she'd rather not sit with him. After class, she left early. Back home, her sadness deepened until suddenly she burst into laughter, though it was a bit unsettling in the dead of night. Then she imagined the doll as Xiaohao and proceeded to rough it up. Her younger brother walked in, saw the scene, and fled in fright. The next day, Xu Jun invited Zhou Jing to help pick a gift for her sister. Just then, she received a call from Xiaohao. Before they could exchange many words, she suddenly heard Xu Jun's voice. Realizing Xiaohao was actually in love with Xiaojun, she hurriedly hung up. The thought of the man she loved being with another woman was unbearable. Just as they were about to leave, a hand grabbed the elevator door. It was Xiaohao. Without a word, Xiaohao pulled Zhou Jing toward him. Xu Jun refused to let this happen and grabbed his other arm. The elevator doors began to close slowly. Fearing Zhou Jing would get caught, Xiaohao frantically pressed the open button. The two tugged like a tug-of-war, each pulling in opposite directions. Xiaohao's button presses proved futile. With no other choice, he stepped inside. Suddenly, the elevator malfunctioned, trapping all three inside. Even now, neither would release their grip. Zhou Jing suddenly felt an urgent need to urinate. Barely holding it in, Xu Jun rushed to call for help outside. Xiaohao suddenly noticed the cup in his hand and snatched it away, holding it out to Zhou Jing. Zhou Jing urged Xu Jun to call for help. Xiaohao silently replaced the lid. After a minute, maintenance personnel finally arrived. By then, Zhou Jing was brimming with primal energy. Her strength stunned both of them. After releasing that primal force, she felt utterly mortified by what had just happened. The next day, the school held a camping trip. Boya suddenly noticed Xu Jun and Zhou Jing wearing matching outfits. Just then, a boy ran up to Xiao Hao. Only then did everyone notice Xiao Hao. Xiao Hao, however, was staring intently at the two. On the school bus, Xiao Hao wanted Zhou Jing to sit next to him. Suddenly, Xiao Jun plopped down in the seat. Zhou Jing had no choice but to sit in the back row. Then Xu Jun sat next to her too. Everyone immediately started chanting, "Together, together, together." If looks could kill, Xu Jun would have been killed 10,000 times over by Xiao Hao's glare. At the campsite, everyone gathered for a group photo. Seeing this scene, I can't help but sigh, I wish I could go back to school too. Then classmates started teasing them, urging the couple outfit pair to take another photo. The teachers saw this and scolded them, asking why they wore matching outfits to camp. After the photo, classmates teased them, insisting they must be dating, why else would they wear matching outfits? Xiao Hao beside them was furious. Zhou Jing told Xu Jun to take off his shirt. Xu Jun quipped, "We've barely started, and you're already making me strip." Then this bickering couple started wrestling. Soon, group games began, requiring teams of 4. Boya's boyfriend, trying to bring Xiao Hao and Zhou Jing together, deliberately pulled Zhou Jing next to Xiao Hao. Boya immediately yanked her boyfriend back to her side. Zhou Jing suddenly felt left out. Seeing this, Xu Jun quickly pulled Zhou Jing into his group. The host instructed the 4 to stand on a single sheet of paper. They huddled tightly together, but Xiao Hao's gaze was fixed on Zhou Jing's group. Soon, everyone else faltered, leaving only 3 groups victorious. The game escalated. The remaining 3 teams had to fold the newspaper into quarters. Xu Jun, hearing this, declared it easy and immediately lifted Zhou Jing. Xiao Hao couldn't stand it anymore and rushed forward to separate them. Fortunately, Boya's boyfriend pulled him back. The game continued. Boya also jumped onto her boyfriend's back. The 4 boys also huddled together. With no other choice, Xiao Hao picked up Xiao Jun. Zhou Jing looked at Xiao Hao. Xiao Hao looked at Zhou Jing. Another group failed. Now only Xu Jun and Xiao Hao's groups remained. The game escalated again. The host instructed the boys to stand on one foot. Xu Jun's team quickly lost their balance and collapsed. Xiao Hao's team emerged victorious. Seeing Zhou Jing dust off Xu Jun only fueled Xiao Hao's anger. Xiao Jun, however, gazed at Xiao Hao with deep affection. At mealtime, Xiao Hao's eyes remained fixed on Zhou Jing. That evening, Xiao Hao called Zhou Jing out alone. As they walked further, a sudden chilling wind swept through. Unbeknownst to them, this path was known as the Road of No Return. Legend claimed it was haunted by unclean spirits. They then spotted a eerie boat by the riverbank. The students dismissed the old man's tale as nonsense, declaring there were no such things as ghosts in this world. They decided to investigate for themselves. Meanwhile, Xiao Hao and Zhou Jing sat on the boat, sharing their thoughts. Just as they prepared to take a photo, a fly buzzed by. In her panic, Zhou Jing fell into the river. After Xiao Hao pulled her out, her makeup smudged, revealing her bare face. Just then, Xiao Jun happened to pass by. To avoid her classmates seeing her without makeup, she shoved Xiao Hao away. Xiao Jun also spotted Xiao Hao. Xiao Hao rushed forward to stop her, but Zhou Jing stumbled and fell to the ground. Just as Xiao Jun moved to check on her, Xiao Hao hurriedly explained it was a wild boar. Before Xiao Jun could react, Xiao Hao grabbed her and ran. Meanwhile, the group of classmates finally reached the well. Jiaxian seemed to notice something. They huddled together, slowly approaching the well opening. Zhou Jing suddenly stood up, startling them into a frantic dash. One boy's pants fell down, and he didn't even have time to pull them up. Zhou Jing peered over the edge, hoping he hadn't recognized her. Just as she turned to leave, Xu Jun arrived searching for her. Seeing him approach, she scrambled up a tree. True potential always needs a spark. Xu Jun continued searching below with the others. Zhou Jing just wanted him to leave. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. Xu Jun spotted her. Terrified, Zhou Jing fell from the tree. Xu Jun fainted from the shock. Zhou Jing fled to a deserted spot and sat on a bench. It turned out to be a text from Xiao Hao. Xiao Hao had also received Zhou Jing's message saying she'd gone back. He pulled a box from his pocket and opened it, revealing a ring. He'd been planning to confess to Zhou Jing. Little did he know this farce would unfold. The next morning, Zhou Jing woke up early and applied her makeup, dreading her classmates seeing her bare face. Soon, the teacher gathered everyone. announcing 5 treasures hidden nearby. Whomever found them could keep them. The students happily set off on their treasure hunt. Just then, Jo Jing approached the teacher, saying she felt unwell. Shu Jun happened to see her. He went to the car and called out to Jo Jing several times, but she didn't respond. He touched her forehead. Good heavens, she was burning up. He rushed off the bus. Soon after, he returned with water and medicine, sitting beside Jo Jing. After she took the medicine, Shu Jun took off his own jacket and covered her with it. Then he slipped the small bracelet back onto Jo Jing's wrist. Xiao Hao, unable to find Jo Jing, grew increasingly anxious. Spotting Xiao Hao outside, Shu Jun quickly rested Jo Jing's head on his shoulder. When Xiao Hao rushed in and saw their intimate posture, along with the bracelet on Jo Jing's wrist, he moved to wake her but was stopped by Shu Jun. Frustrated by being blocked, Xiao Hao lost his temper. The two fought fiercely over love. Classmates witnessed the scene, assuming they were just playfully roughhousing. Ultimately, each landed a kick, leaving both battered, yet neither was willing to give up on Jo Jing. That evening, the school prepared a gala. Classmates recommended Shu Jun sing a song, but Shu Jun had no desire to go. Jo Jing asked, "You really won't go?" Shu Jun replied, "I'll go, but you must agree to one condition." After Jo Jing agreed, Shu Jun strode onto the stage with devilish confidence. That day, she sent her boyfriend a photo of them together, but Xiao Hao waited endlessly with no reply, asking why it hadn't arrived. Only when Jo Jing checked her phone did she realize she'd sent it to Li Mao's number. Spotting Li Mao's phone in his pocket, she sprinted toward him at full speed. Snatching the phone when he wasn't looking, she dashed toward the classroom, but unlocking it required a fingerprint password. Just as she went to find Li Mao, the teacher arrived. Fortunately, Li Mao didn't notice during class, but Jo Jing was frantic. After several minutes, Li Mao fell asleep. Jo Jing quickly grabbed his finger and unlocked the phone. Just as she was about to delete the photo, Li Mao suddenly woke up and asked why she had his phone. Shu Jun suddenly appeared and snatched the phone. Seeing their photo together, he froze instantly. Jo Jing yanked the phone back and deleted the picture. Shu Jun shot an unhappy glance at Xiao Hao. The next day when they met, Jo Jing was fully armed. Dating the school heartthrob was too much pressure. She'd imagined being crushed by the entire female student body, so she had to be careful. They chose the farthest spots from campus for dates, and even picked the most secluded restaurants for meals. They ordered a couple's set meal, only to find just one set of cutlery. Glancing at the neighboring table, they realized what a couple's set was supposed to look like, so Xiao Hao mimicked the setup with all the trimmings. Just then, the waitress rushed over, witnessing the awkward scene. It turned out she had forgotten to bring an extra set of cutlery. Just as classmates approached to say hello, Jo Jing hurriedly told Xiao how to hide under the table. The classmate asked who she was dining with. Jo Jing frantically claimed she was alone, but the classmate didn't buy it. Who orders a couple's set meal by themselves? Xiao Hao lay motionless beneath the table. Seeing this, the classmate pretended to leave but suddenly turned back. Jo Jing nearly had a heart attack. Li Mao sensibly suggested respecting others' privacy, so they just greeted him, teased him a bit, then turned to leave. On Sunday, Jo Jing came looking for part-time work to earn tuition money, but with no experience, no one would hire her. When she went to the restroom feeling dejected, she found a pervert changing clothes in the women's bathroom. She immediately beat him up. After the fight, she realized the pervert was actually Shu Jun. Jo Jing demanded why he was in the women's restroom. Shu Jun noticed there really weren't any urinals nearby and bolted. Turns out Shu Jun had been moonlighting as a model. And boy, did he have the looks for it, the kind where any pose made him drop dead gorgeous. Jo Jing followed to see for herself. The director spotted Jo Jing's figure, and with the female model having cancelled last minute, he decided to cast Jo Jing as a replacement. Hearing she could earn money, Jo Jing immediately agreed. Lacking experience and with Shu Jun refusing to cooperate, the cameraman noticed their lack of chemistry and told them to take a break. During the break, Jo Jing felt hot and started lifting her skirt to fan herself. Even Shu Jun couldn't stand watching that. Jo Jing tried to wipe his sweat but was blocked by Shu Jun. He then pushed her down onto the sofa. As their eyes locked, Shu Jun said, "I'm a man too." The photographer walked over and saw the scene. Thinking it was perfect, he hurriedly grabbed his camera and started snapping away. The two were very cooperative. This couple was feeding pigeons. Jo Jing's father took the food and popped it straight into his mouth. The couple looked at him with disdain before tossing more food. Jo Jing's father started eating again. even mimicking the pigeons begging for food. This scene was witnessed by Xiao Hao. He was on the phone with Zhou Jing, about to tell her he'd seen her father, when Zhou Jing's father abruptly hung up. It turned out he had run away from home to track down someone who had swindled him out of money. Xiao Hao then brought him back to his own home. Zhou still had no idea he was dating his own daughter. But you know what? The two actually got along surprisingly well. They ate turkey noodles together, watched soccer matches together, and even excitedly hugged each other. This must be what men call happiness. The next morning, Zhou told Xiao Hao he'd be heading home soon and asked him to keep it a secret. That evening, Xiao Hao and Zhou Jing were on a date. Suddenly, a bus sped by, splashing Zhou Jing with water. Xiao Hao quickly shielded her with his body. This scene was witnessed by Xiaojun, who secretly harbored feelings for Xiao Hao. Seeing their intimate moment filled her with rage. Since Zhou Jing's clothes were soaked, Xiao Hao brought her back to his place. After she changed clothes, the takeout arrived just in time. At that moment, a head slowly peeked out. It was none other than Zhou Jing's father. Turns out, while cleaning, he'd found a bottle of fine wine. He'd intended to take just a sip but accidentally downed the whole bottle, sleeping it off until now. Just as he planned to slip away, he heard Xiao Hao's voice. With no other choice, he darted under the table. Zhou Jing and Xiao Hao approached the table. Zhou still didn't know his daughter was outside. The two were eating pizza when he reached out and secretly grabbed a slice. They were watching a horror movie and were quite tense. Zhou saw this and muttered, "This kid actually brought a woman home." Startled, Xiao Hao instinctively moved closer to Zhou Jing. Their eyes met, and sparks flew. Xiao Hao slowly leaned toward Zhou Jing. Just then, Zhou peeked out cautiously. His jaw clenched in fury when he recognized his own daughter. As their lips were about to meet, Zhou grabbed Xiao Hao's leg. The sudden movement made them both jump. Convinced a ghost had appeared, Zhou Jing bolted to the kitchen in terror. Xiao Hao braced himself for a fight. When Zhou Jing recognized the fallen figure, she froze in shock. The two then headed home together. Dad had always told her, absolutely no driving without a license before marriage. But Zhou Jing felt utterly mortified by what just happened. To be safe, father and daughter decided to make a deal. Dad would help his daughter hide her relationship from mom. Daughter would help dad hide his freeloading from mom. The next day at school, Xiaojun confessed her feelings for Xiao Hao to Zhou Jing. Zhou Jing froze upon hearing this, but she was already dating Xiao Hao. She resolved to tell Xiaojun the truth. When Xiaojun learned Zhou Jing was dating Xiao Hao, she flew into a rage. Without a word, she flung juice right into Zhou Jing's face. The once close best friends finally broke apart. It turned out the entire scene was just a dream Zhou Jing had been having. Zhou Jing, seeing Xiao Hao lying in the hospital bed, burst into tears. Only when Xiao Hao pushed open the door did she realize she'd cried over the wrong person. Shu Jun then got up and asked who it was. Zhou Jing didn't want Shu Jun to see her bare face, so she threw herself into Xiao Hao's arms. Shu Jun asked Xiao Hao who he was holding. Xiao Hao lied, saying it was his cousin. But Shu Jun remained suspicious. To avoid detection, Zhou Jing had to cover her face with a cloth. During their conversation, Shu Jun felt something was off. Their exchange didn't sound like that of cousins at all. Fearing her cover would slip, Zhou Jing hurriedly ran out. The next day, Shu Jun needed to use the restroom, but his broken hands made it difficult. Xiao Hao refused to help, telling him to call the nurse himself. Despite the banter, he couldn't escape the situation. Just then, Zhou Jing arrived at the hospital, beautifully made up. The moment she opened the door, her eyes widened in shock. Both men realized something was off. Zhou Jing awkwardly greeted them. Xiao Hao quickly explained they were changing his clothes. Zhou Jing said, "You two carry on. I'll step out for a bit." Shu Jun, seeing the two flirting, grew displeased and stood up to leave. Xiao Hao, thinking he needed to use the restroom, asked if he required assistance. Zhou Jing was stunned this was something he could actually help with. Shu Jun told her to stop imagining things, then awkwardly ran off. Worried Xiao Hao might get bored, Zhou Jing brought him some books from the manga shop. The books fell to the floor, and both men bent down to pick them up. Zhou Jing's head ended up buried in Xiao Hao's chest. Her hair got tangled in his buttons. As they struggled to untangle it, Xiao Hao's younger brother, sent by their mother to check on him, happened to see the scene. He set down the chicken soup and said, "You two carry on. I'll be going." Xiao Hao and Zhou Jing scrambled to explain, but Zhou Sun didn't buy it for a second and started cheering them on. The two started untangling again, just as they heard Shu Jun's best friend talking outside. If they saw this, wouldn't it cause a huge mess? With time running out, Xiu Hao told Zhou Jing to hide under his covers. The moment the blanket was pulled over them, Zhou Sun burst into the room. Just then, Xiu Hao's classmate also came to visit him. This nearly scared Xiu Hao to death. Zhou Jing was also scared to the point of tears. Right after Zhou Sun came out, he bumped into the goddess he secretly admired. It was obvious Gao Yun wasn't very fond of him, so he started playing the victim to win her sympathy. Just then, Xu Jun walked over. Gao Yun greeted him with appa, leaving Zhou Sun utterly dumbfounded. Turns out they were siblings. Back home, Zhou Sun had mistaken Gao Yun for Xu Jun's girlfriend and targeted him relentlessly. He even pinned Zhou Sun's photos to a punching bag and beat it daily. Never imagined he'd become his future brother-in-law. Xu Jun told him to give up. His sister had zero interest in him, but Zhou Sun's face was thicker than a city wall. This infuriated Xu Jun to no end. Gao Yun hung the underwear around his neck and walked away. The hospital room was bustling with activity, some eating, others playing. This left Zhou Jing feeling utterly stifled. When Xu Jun returned, they rushed to greet him, and immediately burst into tears. "I'm not dead yet," Xu Jun protested. Just then, a classmate pulled his underwear out of a bag. It was leopard print. He pulled it over his head. Wu Yu noticed Xiu Hao sweating and offered to wipe him down. Xiu Hao said, "If my hands can reach, I'll wipe your feet instead." The pink socks shocked them all. Wu Yu remarked, "Your feet are so dainty," then asked if he liked pink. Xu Jun seemed to catch on. To save face, he urged his best buddies to head home, but they insisted on staying the night out of loyalty. This terrified Zhou Jing. Only after much coaxing and trickery did she finally get them out the door and followed them herself. Once everyone was gone, Zhou Jing immediately crawled out, not even bothering to put on her shoes as she bolted. After leaving the hospital, Xu Jun and Xiu Hao sat on a bench to rest. Suddenly, a cigarette butt landed at their feet. A heavy-set uncle stepped down. Thinking he was alone, Xu Jun plucked up his courage to scold him, but then a group of people emerged from the car, and he instantly lost his composure. The uncle taunted, "Come on." Then, Xu Jun started to approach but was abruptly pulled back by Xiu Hao, who urged him to hold his ground. Xu Jun bolted, leaving Xiu Hao stranded. Fortunately, Xu Jun had a change of heart and returned. He grabbed Xiu Hao's cane and hurled it at them. Then he hoisted Xiu Hao onto his back. The men gave chase relentlessly. After a wild pursuit, they were finally caught. Thus, Xu Jun and Xiu Hao were stuck in a pile of chicken manure. The men didn't attack them. The stench was too overpowering. They hurled a few taunts before hastily departing. Xiu Hao accused him of not being patient enough. Xu Jun retorted, "But I was the one carrying you." Xiu Hao leaned toward him, only to be pushed away in disgust by Xu Jun. Soon after, both sat on a farm cart, mocking each other for their dung-covered faces. After following Xiu Hao home, Xu Jun started eating instant noodles. He asked Xiu Hao to fetch him a glass of water. Xiu Hao obediently went to fetch it. Suddenly, a phone notification buzzed. He hurriedly grabbed his phone. Xu Jun claimed it was his and mentioned that Xiujin seemed to have feelings for him. That's why Zhou Jing didn't want to make their relationship public. Xiu Hao recalled the gift Xiujin had given him last time. Soon after, Zhou Jing sent a message. Not wanting Xu Jun to overhear, Xiu Hao moved to a secluded spot. He found his best angle and opened a video call. Zhou Jing asked how his day was. Xiu Hao told her everything that happened. Zhou Jing laughed and reminded him to eat more bananas for faster leg recovery. Xu Jun felt warmed by this. Then the two made a little heart gesture. Zhou Jing even blew him a kiss, pure bliss. Just then, her little brother burst in, demanding she take something. Turns out he wanted to give her a fart. Zhou Jing chased after him, ready to smack him. That's when she suddenly remembered she was wearing cow-print pajama bottoms, utterly mortifying. After saying goodnight to Xiu Hao, she hurriedly hung up. Xu Jun smiled happily. Early the next morning, Zhou Jing was thrilled to see her boyfriend, but when she stepped outside, she found Xiu Hao waiting at the door. Xiu Hao opened his arms, and they embraced sweetly. Then they walked hand in hand to school. At school, Boya deliberately approached a transfer student, simply because she and Zhou Jing had attended the same school before. After Zhou Jing and Xiu Hao parted ways, Xiujin called out to her from ahead. Zhou Jing turned around and saw the two approaching. She froze instantly. It wasn't because she was ugly, but because seeing her reminded Zhou Jing of how she had stood by taking photos when Zhou Jing was bullied before. Once, Zhou Jing had considered her her best friend. She couldn't understand why she had treated her that way. Ji Hui said, "Are you Zhou Jing?" Look at Xiujin's smug expression. Zhou Jing ignored her, pulling Xiaojun away. Watching their retreating figures, Jihui couldn't be certain if she was truly her former classmate, but Zhou Jing had no idea all this was deliberately orchestrated by Xiaojun. She intended to make Zhou Jing's past replay itself within this school. That evening, she tracked down the former school beauty who had attended the same school as Zhou Jing. She revealed that the current Zhou Jing was the same ugly duckling from back then, so they hailed a cab to Zhou Jing's home to confront her, only to be spotted by Xu Jun passing by. The moment they reached Zhou Jing's doorstep, Xu Jun pulled them aside. The former beauty queen, assuming Zhou Jing and Xu Jun were dating, showed him a photo of Zhou Jing without makeup. They expected Xu Jun to be shocked. Instead, he said, "To me, she's prettier than someone like you." He snatched her phone and slammed it hard onto the ground. Xu Jun warned them, "If you cause trouble for Zhou Jing again, don't blame me for being ruthless." The next day, when Zhou Jing arrived at school, everyone stared at her with strange looks. When she returned to her classroom, Boya asked her, "Is this real?" Seeing her old barefaced video exposed. In that moment, Zhou Jing felt like the sky was falling. Facing everyone's accusations, she fled in terror. Xiaojun, however, wore a smug expression. Suddenly, she was intercepted by several female troublemakers who dragged her aside. Jihui watched with dread and pulled Zhou Jing into the restroom. She used paper to wipe off Zhou Jing's foundation, determined to see what her ugly bare face looked like. Just then, Xiao Hao rushed over and stopped them. Unable to endure this humiliation any longer, Zhou Jing fled once more. Xiao Hao chased after her relentlessly. The fat guy tracked down Xu Jun and showed him Zhou Jing's earlier video. Xu Jun instantly understood. Zhou Sun overheard classmates talking about his sister again and couldn't take it anymore. Even at a disadvantage, he refused to back down. Xu Jun went to Zhou Jing's former school, found the school beauty, and loudly demanded she delete the video. The school beauty claimed she hadn't done it. Xu Jun retorted, "If not you, then who?" He returned to the classroom and walked straight toward Xiaojun. Out of friendship, he didn't confront her in front of the class. Instead, he pulled her outside and demanded, "How could you be such a trash person? Delete that video immediately." Xiaojun didn't deny her involvement. She even said that since the entire school had already seen the video, deleting it now was pointless. Xu Jun retorted, "You think you're destroying Zhou Jing? You're destroying yourself." Teachers discovered the incident too. When the homeroom teacher entered the classroom and heard students still discussing Zhou Jing, she couldn't help but scold them. Zhou Jing locked herself in her room every day. Her father urged her to eat, but she refused. So he came up with a plan, frying pork belly right outside her door. The aroma filled the entire room. Perhaps that was fatherly love. At school, Gao Yun confronted the administrator who shared the video, demanding why she allowed it to spread. Xu Jun happened to see his sister being bullied and rushed to help, but Zhou Sun beat him to it. He intended to be the hero, but his weakness proved his downfall. Xu Jun's single shout silenced everyone instead. Zhou Sun was overjoyed. Xu Jun helped his sister to her feet. Through their conversation, they discovered Gao Yun was actually Xu Jun's sister. They were stunned. "I doubt anyone will dare bully her again." Xu Jun grabbed the administrator and demanded the video be deleted. Meanwhile, the homeroom teacher found Zhou Jing's mother and showed her the video of Zhou Jing being bullied. Gu Zi couldn't believe it was her daughter in the footage. In that moment, she finally understood why Zhou Jing insisted on wearing makeup to school every day. That evening, Zhou Jing confronted Xiaojun. Though she hoped it wasn't Xiaojun, she knew she was the only one aware of her bare face. Facing Zhou Jing, Xiaojun admitted it was her doing before leaving. Zhou Jing was left wounded. Why did her best friends always hurt her? Ji Hui had done it, and now Xiaojun too. When she returned home, her mother could no longer hold back, pulling her into an embrace. Her sister revealed that their mother had gone to the school. Zhou Jing explained she hadn't told her mother because she feared her worry, even if everyone else despised their child. In a mother's eyes, her child would always be the best. The next day, Gu Zi planned to take her daughter for plastic surgery. The doctor estimated the procedure would cost hundreds of millions of won. Gu Zi declared she'd pay any amount to transform her daughter into a goddess. The basic double eyelid surgery was done, so they proceeded to open the inner corners of her eyes. For the nose, silicone implants would be used. For a sharper tip, cartilage from her left ear could be grafted. Finally, fat from her buttocks would be transferred to her chin and cheeks to create more dimensional contours. The final result would look like this. Gu Zi recognized it immediately. It was just her daughter after makeup. She declared no plastic surgeon could match her daughter's makeup skills, grabbed Zhou Jing, and stormed out. Back in the car, Gu Zi decided to transfer her to a school where no one knew her. That way, no one would learn she'd been shunned by classmates for her looks. That evening, Xiao Hao found Zhou Jing and told her, "Whether you wear makeup or not, I love you. True beauty comes from within. Appearance means nothing." After dropping Zhou Jing off, he recalled his classmates teasing Boya for fun. He went to the comic shop, opened his phone camera, and filmed a confession for Zhou Jing. Seeing the video, Zhou Jing's face lit up with a huge smile. Early the next morning, her mom cooked Zhou Jing's favorite grilled meat. When her younger brother called her to eat, there was no response. Pushing open the door, he froze in shock. The room was completely empty. Snow flurries drifted through the schoolyard. Zhou Jing wore sexy little leather boots. Her classmates stared at her in astonishment. In the hallway, classmates couldn't believe Zhou Jing wasn't wearing makeup. Upon entering the classroom, her peers didn't mock her like before. In that moment, she overcame her fear and forced a smile. Everyone greeted her warmly. Suddenly, her best friend Boya dashed out. Zhou Jing rushed after her. "Why are you running? I'll just direct you to run." Suddenly, she spotted several girls who had bullied her before. The past incidents had left her traumatized. Terrified, she hid in the restroom, but the girls followed her in. They taunted her, saying an ugly girl like her wasn't worthy of Xiao Hao. Harsh words flooded her mind. Only after they left did Zhou Jing dare to emerge. She suddenly wondered why she had ever feared them. Filled with rage, she stormed out and confronted them. Hearing this, they laughed, wondering where she found the courage. "No matter what I look like, Xiao Hao will always love me. And if I ever hear you badmouthing me and Xiao Hao again, I'll rip your filthy mouths off." Everyone cheered Zhou Jing on. Xiao Hao heard her and smiled. Then he stormed over, shoving the girls aside. He walked straight toward Zhou Jing, right in front of everyone. He kissed her forehead. This move stunned everyone. He then pulled her into his arms, stroking her hair. This news sent shockwaves through the entire school. The school heartthrob had fallen for the ugly girl. Hand in hand, they returned to their classroom. The students were stunned once more. Boya, however, looked inexplicably furious. Xiuzhen's entire plan ultimately failed to separate the two. After class, Xiuzhen confronted Zhou Jing again, accusing her of deliberately seeking sympathy with her appearance. Before she could finish, Boya burst in. Furious, he stormed toward them, grabbed an object, and hurled it at Xiuzhen. He declared she had truly disappointed him. It turned out Boya had long known Xiuzhen was the one who released the video. That day, after Xu Jun dragged Xiuzhen away, he had followed them and overheard their entire conversation. She believed Xiuzhen had acted in a moment of confusion and would surely apologize once Zhou Jing arrived. But now, she had heard every word Xiuzhen just said to Zhou Jing. She was utterly disillusioned. Furious, she turned and ran. Zhou Jing saw her and hurried after. Catching up on the basketball court, she grabbed Boya in a hug. "It was my fault for not telling you," she said, "because I was afraid of losing you as a friend." But Boya was furious. "Why did you tell Xiuzhen everything when the three of us were getting along so well?" Zhou Jing kept repeating, "I'm sorry." At that moment, the misunderstanding between them finally dissolved. They embraced tightly. People around them stared as if they were fools. After school, the two bought big chicken legs by the roadside. Suddenly, they saw the school beauty bullying Ji Hui. At that moment, she couldn't take it anymore and prepared to fight them. Zhou Jing directly threw fruit at the school beauty's face. This infuriated the school beauty to no end. Boya, lacking combat experience, had her hair grabbed. Then she started wildly punching at thin air. Ji Hui couldn't beat her opponent, but she used her books as a shield. Zhou Jing was actually pretty formidable. She probably didn't even realize how strong she was, probably because that punch just now unblocked her meridians. In the end, they decided to settle the war by grabbing each other's hair. The school beauty, lacking martial ethics, actually called in reinforcements. Just as they were about to attack Shi Hui, Xu Jun's best friend appeared. He immediately used his 1.8-meter height and 200 gene weight to scold them. This scared the class beauty and her friends to death. Jiaxian told Zhou Jing and the others to leave first, saying he'd handle it here. After this battle, the three girls forged a deep bond, becoming inseparable confidants. Back home, Zhou Jing collapsed onto her bed, utterly exhausted. She muttered about calling Xiao Hao, but fell asleep instantly. Xiao Hao suffered through a grueling wait from midnight until 3 a.m. With no call from Zhou Jing, thinking his phone was dead, he dialed Huang Ji instead. Huang Ji was furious in the middle of the night and hung up immediately. Early the next morning, Zhou Jing hurriedly called Xiao Hao, even with the phone pressed to her head. She couldn't wake him after a sleepless night. Zhou Jing then went to her mother's eyebrow tattoo shop and discovered her mom had secretly signed her up for makeup classes. This thrilled Zhou Jing to no end. She hugged her mom and showered her with kisses. Later at school, Xiao Hao caught up with her and demanded why she hadn't answered his calls last night. Zhou Jing asked for some space instead. Xiao Hao grabbed her from behind and pulled her close. Just then, Xu Jun pulled up on his motorcycle. Zhou Jing happily climbed aboard. Watching their retreating figures, Xiao Hao knelt on the ground, overcome with pain and helplessness. It turned out it had all been a dream. That evening, Xu Jun visited the Taekwondo gym to challenge Xiao Hao to spar. Fighting relies on instinct, not this kind of training, Xu Jun declared. Your style won't beat someone trained in martial arts, Xiao Hao countered. Their argument quickly escalated into a sparring match. In the first round, Xu Jun was sent crashing to the mat by Xiao Hao's shoulder throw. The second round saw Xu Jun seize Xiao Hao's waist and force him to the floor. Xiao Hao locked his neck with his foot and escaped. In the third round, Xu Jun grabbed Xiao Hao and slammed him hard onto the ground. He then charged forward to subdue him, but Xiao Hao grabbed him in one swift move. He immediately locked Xu Jun's neck with his foot. 3 seconds later, Xu Jun was defeated. Both lay exhausted on the ground, gasping for breath. Because he lost, Xu Jun had to obey Xiao Hao's orders. Xiao Hao ordered him to perform on the street. His stunning vocals instantly drew a crowd filming videos. Watching his performance, Xiao Hao flashed a satisfied smile. Later, they shared pizza together. Xiao Hao asked, "If you'd won, what would you have made me do?" Xu Jun replied, "I wanted to confess to Zhou Jing and hear her reject me in person." Xiao Hao fell silent upon hearing this. The next day, Xiao Hao and Zhou Jing shopped together at the mall. Zhou Jing's phone suddenly rang. It was Xu Jun calling. Xiao Hao knew Xu Jun was about to confess to her. Zhou Jing stared at her ex-boyfriend, vanished for 3 years, unable to believe her eyes. Xiao Hao walked step by step toward her. By now, Zhou Jing's eyes were already brimming with tears. Xu Jun told her he'd rushed here the moment he landed, then gently caressed her face. Zhou Jing flung his hand away, saying, "We broke up." Xu Jun repeated, "I missed you so much." But Zhou Jing replied, "I didn't miss you," then ran off. Heartbroken, Xiao Hao rushed after Zhou Jing, who suddenly clutched her stomach in severe pain. Without a word, he hoisted her onto his back and sprinted toward the hospital. At the hospital, the doctor diagnosed her with constipation. When Xiao Hao called her after returning home, she hung up immediately. Learning Xiao Hao had returned, Xu Jun sought him out directly. Xiao Hao recounted his recent encounter with Zhou Jing. Truthfully, Xu Jun had known all along. That day when they dined together, Zhou Jing had wept like a 1-year-old child. He understood she had never forgotten Xiao Hao. The next day, as Zhou Jing prepared to go to work, Xiao Hao was waiting for her at the entrance. Just like back in school, Zhou Jing ignored him and turned to leave, but Xiao Hao followed her, talking non-stop. Zhou Jing still wouldn't acknowledge him. Finally, unable to bear his constant nagging, she turned and ran. When she arrived at her part-time job, she discovered Xiao Hao sitting there. Zhou Jing asked how he knew where she worked. Xiao Hao replied, "I didn't know. I just wanted to get my hair done." During this time, he had Zhou Jing fetch tea and water for him. Seeing Zhou Jing hesitate, the boss scolded her, "Hurry up." Soon his hair was done, but Zhou Jing hadn't finished her shift yet. Finally, when it was time to clock out, Zhou Jing changed clothes and prepared to go home. She turned around only to find Xiao Hao gone. Muttering a few complaints, stepping outside, she spotted Xu Jun waiting at the door. "We agreed to 3 dates, right?" he said. "Let's start now." The moment they left, Xiao Hao returned with food. She'd seen Zhou Jing working non-stop without eating, so she'd gone to buy her lunch. Xu Jun and Zhou Jing headed to the ice rink. Then he took Zhou Jing to help him pick out earrings. But Zhou Jing got tricked. Xu Jun actually made her pay for them. Unable to find Zhou Jing, Xiao Hao went to the comic shop. Just then, Xu Jun was walking Zhou Jing home and happened to pass by the comic shop. As they were about to part ways, Xu Jun suddenly pulled Zhou Jing into his arms. Zhou Jing froze instantly. Just then, Xiao Hao emerged from the comic shop and witnessed the scene. Xu Jun saw Xiao Hao too, but instead of letting go, he held her tighter. After a moment, Zhou Jing finally snapped out of it and pushed Xu Jun away. Xu Jun saw Xiao Hao had already left. Just as Zhou Jing tried to explain, Xu Jun cut her off. He said, "We have 2 dates left. then turned and walked away. Just as he reached the intersection, Xiao Hao appeared and blocked his path. Men are like this, nothing a drink can't fix. Xu Jun told him he was dating Zhou Jing. Xiao Hao didn't believe a word of it. After that, neither said a thing. 1 round for you. 1 round for me, 1,000 words dissolved in liquor. The next day, Zhou Jing came to Xu Jun's workplace. Seeing Zhou Jing's message, Xu Jun wasn't particularly happy. He knew this day would come eventually. Zhou Jing didn't know this would be Xu Jun's last embrace of her. He had already decided to let Zhou Jing go. Suddenly, Xu Jun told her Xiao Hao was flying back to America tonight. There was still time to find him. Zhou Jing froze in shock. Seeing her flustered, Xu Jun pushed her toward the door. At that moment, Xu Jun's heart felt like it was being sliced by a knife. He pushed away the one he loved with his own hands, then stepped away from her, inch by inch. Watching Xu Jun's retreating figure, Zhou Jing understood his meaning. Finally reaching a secluded spot, he intended to climb to the rooftop, but halfway up, he could no longer hold back and burst into tears. He recalled these past 3 years with Zhou Jing. He was the one who celebrated her birthdays. He was the one who saw her off to the college entrance exams. He was the one who accompanied her for graduation photos. Every important moment in Zhou Jing's life had been shared with Xu Jun. Yet 3 years of companionship couldn't compare to 1 moment with Xiao Hao. His tears flowed bitterly, soaked in bitter regret. Zhou Jing was rushing toward Xiao Hao. She'd lost Xiao Hao 3 years ago and refused to let him slip away again. At that moment, Xiao Hao was packing his clothes. When Zhou Jing arrived, she pounded relentlessly on the door, but there was no answer. Frantic, she burst into tears, accusing him of leaving without a word. Just then, the door opened. Zhou Jing threw herself at him, clinging tightly as she begged, "Don't go." Seeing Xiao Hao's packed luggage, her sobs grew even more intense. Xiao Hao assured her he wasn't leaving. Zhou Jing thought he was lying. "Look, you've packed your bags," Xiao Hao explained. "I was just organizing my clothes." She finally understood why Xu Jun had told her Xiao Hao was leaving. He was making way for the two of them. Realizing this, Zhou Jing ran out, her face flushed with embarrassment. Xiao Hao hurried after her, grabbed her hand, and drove her home. In the car, they talked at length, their relationship returning to how it once was. The next day, Zhou Jing sought out Xu Jun again to apologize, but Xu Jun told her, "I confessed to you for my own sake too. Only after being brutally rejected could I focus on other things." Zhou Jing knew he was pretending not to care, but love, after all, is always selfish, something you can't share. That day, while working her part-time job, Zhou Jing was being bullied. Just then, a pair of large feet kicked the thug squarely in the face. It was Xiaozhen, back in town. Zhou Jing looked at her, at a loss for words. Later, the two went to the bookstore. It turned out Xiaozhen had dropped out of school because of that video and followed her mother to live with her aunt overseas. She formally apologized to Zhou Jing for what had happened back then. She expressed deep regret for her actions back then, but Zhou Jing never blamed her and had always considered her the best friend in her heart. The two reconciled at that very moment. Being a bit clumsy, Zhou Jing kept making mistakes and got scolded by her boss again. That day, Zhou Jing invited Xiao Hao to eat hot pot. The moment Xiao Hao walked in, the girls nearby started swooning. Zhou Jing noticed and demanded why he was late. This sudden outburst left Xiao Hao completely bewildered. He glanced behind her and instantly understood the situation. He then wiped the drool from Zhou Jing's mouth, earning envious glances from the girls. Soon after, it was Xu Jun's debut day, but he couldn't muster any joy. That evening, Zhou Jing asked Boya to help her pick out clothes. Suddenly, Boya spotted her boyfriend's WeChat Moments background. It was a bar. Furious, she called him only to discover Xiao Hao was there too. This infuriated them beyond belief, so they decided to head to the bar and teach them a lesson.